So what do you think, how much would you think is networked or is global impact would be? Can we put it in billions or what?
Yeah.
Well, we can actually put it in billions because it multiplies all the time.
Yeah.
Yes. Does it make sense?
Yeah. No.
Considering what the work that is done with MJ, Michael Jackson.
All these deals.
So you're talking about the knockoff effect.
So what Kevin's saying, yes, technically Kirk is the number one, but reality is that Andrew Crouch's impact is there to be seen. You know what I'm saying? You can see it. You're not singing Kirk songs in every church. You're not singing Stomp as a congregational hymn.
No.
You know what I'm saying?
No.
But you're singing To God Be the Glory. You know what I'm saying?
Affinity Extra. Be extra.
The views and opinions expressed in this podcast are personal and do not necessarily represent the views of Affinity Extra.
Yo, this is your boy here, Roger Moore, and Infinite Extra, the best gospel musical black origin. This is me on my Edge show. I'm alongside the black music historian himself, Kevin Tomlin. He's, I believe, 7 books, gonna be 7 books. Is it 7 or 6? Six books in it.
Completed,
yeah.
And then the 7th one is
about to come. You know what I mean? So he's going to go out on the 7th, you know, when that's the, you know what I mean, that completion number, you know, that God number, you know. But do check out his books on Amazon, you know what I mean?
Yes,
so big things, you know.
We will take pictures of it later so you can actually see them,
you know,
and then you can
check out the links, man.
The links,
because I put the links in the description, so it's definitely amazing, man. But listen, guys, we've been doing a series. We've been coming together. We've been outside the studios and it's been a long time off, so we want to carry on from where we left off in the last podcast for the ones who have been in it. But if you haven't, do go back into it has to be said, the Crouch special, and it's so special that we didn't even scream, we didn't even eat the icing, you know. And I'm thinking, oh my goodness sake, I had to say, listen, I had to stop. I had to say, listen, we gotta stop now. We got in an hour, absolutely. I think we just celebrated Andrea Crouch for 1 hour. One of the most amazing, looked at his context of where he grew up in the West Coast. I did mention about not understanding that West Coast came into things. I thought it was just a rap and an East versus West Coast thing in the rap game, but it wasn't really. It was a sound, the West Coast sound, and it defined the sounds and areas. It just show you that sometimes, God bless rap, I love rap, but you know, they kind of always gangsterize certain things, you know what I mean? Turn something into, well, it shouldn't really be. It shouldn't be a beef thing. It's just a sound thing, you know, and we compete in a healthy environment. But that's a whole nother subject, people. But we're gonna look into the fundamentals of that amazing coastline in the West Coast. And they weren't really, everybody thinks, oh, you're born in LA, Hollywood, and no. Yes, they did some production in Hollywood studios. Andrew Crouch, but he was born in San Francisco, you know, part of the, I'll call it the cosmopolitan area, which includes right across the river is Oakland, down the road is San Jose, you know what I'm saying? So you would know that from sports and different things you see associated to them areas. But that's the cosmopolitan area that they had there, and they had a circuit and in a community that wasn't like in the South where you had majority black in certain cities. It was an area where blacks were just a 15% minority, 15-20% minority.
Yes, it was a very interesting area as well, because just up top of there in Seattle is where you have the Boeing facility and so on. So there was constant movement back and forth from there with top engineers and in aeronautics. So the massive aeronautics industry that feeding that community. And of course, as well, matters to do with Hollywood and many of the scores.
Good.
Slide and the Stones were originally from San Francisco as well. So there was a lot of quite interesting funk going on, and what do you call psychedelic funk. That's one of the areas that it was originated to. That impact You know,
So that, you know, funk, you know, like
Yes.
not Kid, Atomic Dog, or
you're talking about brother George Clinton.
Yeah.
Funk.
Is he from the, he's not from the West, is he?
No. He's from the Detroit, generally from the Detroit area.
Okay.
So there's different sounds. Yeah.
He's funk like crazy, you know what I mean?
Funk
Like,
at a different sonic level of it's almost abstract in one sense.
yeah,
but
no,
it had
100%.
it's rather
You know?
interesting.
You know what I'm saying? And I think, you know, when what I loved about listening to that period of music
Yes.
is that musicians actually pushed their boundaries of creativity and recorded it. They, you know, things like funk is actually you breaking every rule and you're just being allowed to record. You breaking the rules and listen to your genius, which doesn't make sense to any piece of paper out there, any rule book you break, and it allows you to express it. Today, you have to formulate through something, you know what I'm saying? It seems we was listening to some music today and was like, new music's like, okay, yeah, we know what you're trying. We've heard it all before, but what are you going to do with it? You know what I mean? It doesn't allow for development of signatures, development of sounds, and you can see these areas now. As you see, Kevin's always talking to me about areas. We done things about Muscle Show. We touched about Memphis. We talk about great giants coming out of different regions of the UK, Detroit, Chicago. You know what I'm saying? We haven't touched Toronto yet because I'm sure there's a few people came out of Toronto.
Yes, there's some serious people that came out of there,
You know what I mean?
especially some of the guys who work at Motown, actually, like Tom Bird, the late Tom Bird. They're all from Vancouver and that area, who were top end, classically trained and come down. Migrated into
the US
and became quite outstanding arrangers and composers and top end studio musicians. We'll talk about that later at some point.
Yeah,
where they integrated into the Motown recording empire and actually enhanced the sonic brilliance of, say, Diana Ross and so forth. You know, there's a lot. It's a lot. And sometimes Motown was actually the label that started many of these people's career, actually. Whites and some, So,
no, but now 100%. So again, salute to Sanjay Crouch, the legacy that they've hit, the amount of records that Andre Crouch has done. And you know what, guys, I do utilize digital platforms a lot to listen back to my music. My biggest Achilles heel is that a lot of the older music and gospel isn't distributed really well digitally. But now I couldn't believe it when I did some research yesterday. It's like all of a sudden majority of his content, apart from Live in London, is out there. The people who did Live in London 1977 or 78, get that on the digital people. That was amazing.
They're probably doing negotiations because sometimes there's different copyright issue because sometimes depends on who has the final rather say for it on it rather and getting the permission because sometimes some of the digital platforms don't want to have kickbacks and lawsuits. So you have to be conscious. Making sure that you are clearing all the pros and cons before you release.
Cool.
You don't want to be dealing with all the pros and cons after you release.
Yeah.
That it wouldn't be wise at all, you know. So
I think and you know what, but to be honest, and then also the Andrew Crouch's input into other gospel artists as well, like Jesse Dixon. He was a big artist back in the day, and I didn't realize that, you know, he was coming out the stable of Andre Crouch. We'd say the stable,
because he dealt with James Cleveland, but that was a pivotal album that was a defining
Oh yeah,
album. That was a
yeah.
defining
Yeah, no,
album.
it's great. And to be honest,
Solid,
Jesse
yeah.
Dixon really transcend into the same community, you know, that white community, the white
yes,
church community.
yes.
His songs, his hits, his hits went over there, and he became like Andre
Bill-
Crouch, like he was their singer.
Bill Gator and all of them.
Yeah.
He could actually deal with the classical hymns at the same
Yeah.
time, and then move into a real traditional gospel, and then he can move into a funk platform.
You know,
where you have the horns and the kicking with the, like, because one of his albums, the second album on Word, featured Edwin and Fat horn section.
Well, this is what I'm saying, man.
They were top level.
Yeah.
There was a lot of. He was dealing with some of the cream. He was eventually dealing with some of the cream, especially from Chicago. Tom Washington, who was a remarkable string and horn arranger, who worked with Phil Collins actually on Phil Collins' many multi-platinum albums. So there was a cross section going on, but and then he was actually dealing with the top cream of backing singers from Chicago. This. The Kitty Sisters and so forth. That's another. But when we go into that, the gospel roots. There's so many strands that is vital to the success of the music industry globally. Anyhow, now let's look at these brothers here. These brothers and sisters. The Wrecking Crew. Some of the Wrecking Crew members worked with Motown. The Funk Brothers, of course. When I say the Wrecking Crew, that's when Motown went to the West Coast and then took some of the musicians like.
So this was in the 60s and 70s, yeah?
Yes.
So when Andrew Crouch was...
Actually, with the Wrecking Crew, for instance, they work with
Did they work with
Sinatra.
Andrew Crouch?
Some of the guys might work there and come over. So everybody's working with each other. It's It's like a floating. This brother needs help here. Let's come over here. And
cool.
This brother needs some string arrangement. There was a very fluid. Depends on who is passing through the studio at the time.
Cool.
Oh, Joe, I need you to sort out this. We're not getting this sound right. Can you actually put your 2 pennies to it? Get it.
Yeah.
Get it to a certain sonic level of quality.
Yeah.
So, Wrecking Crew, you can see who the Wrecking Crew's worked for.
Yeah. Beach Boys, Sinatra, Frank
And
Sinatra.
this lady,
Carol
Kay.
Kay.
Carol Kay was one of the first outstanding bassists.
Female bassist.
She was in a different.
Carol Kay.
Carol Kay, yes.
I've heard of her before.
Yeah, Carol Kay, yes. You can check her out. It's a white lady.
Okay.
Yeah. She's pretty old now, but
Okay, yeah.
But you know what I mean? She's another phenomenal. Who worked with a lot of people like Quincy Jones and everything. She just, what to say. And then when you go there, you talk about the Funk Brothers who worked with Diana Ross and Stevie Wonder and Marvin Gaye and so on. So you're talking about different studio musicians and so on that was synonymous to an area. West Coast, Detroit, Nashville A-Team. Well, that has, of course, they work with some of the gospel artists from that area and so forth. You see some of the people they actually worked with.
Yeah, and you got Muscle Show Rhythm Section.
Yes, and the
Rhythm Section.
Rolling Stone.
Yeah, we know.
Wilkerson,
Yeah.
Aretha Franklin. So you see all the definition.
Yeah.
Brilliant. The late Roger Hawkins, an outstanding. He's the one who worked on the tracks. I Take You There.
Okay, yeah.
Yes, so you can hear the drumming connotations. You see, so you see the difference. Yeah.
Okay.
And then the Memphis Boys. The Memphis Boys who worked with Elvis Presley, Neil Diamond, Dr. Springfield, and particularly one of the outstanding one is Reggie Young, outstanding guitarist.
Okay.
And Bobby, was that Bobby?
Bobby Emmons,
who is an outstanding keyboardist from that region. So we're going south.
South. Memphis.
The Muscle Show. They always close cousin. All these 3 key eras. Then you go down to New York. Session musicians. Oh, that is.
That's not bad. Steve Gadd, the bassist Will Lee. I'm saying, and you got saxophonists like Michael Breaker.
Yes.
And you got And you got Toronto, as we was talking about, you know what I'm saying? You know, they've got a rising cosmopolitan area where a mixture of cultures and sounds.
They all, you know, where Weekend and Drake's, all these guys come from there with that rich culture. And then don't forget the Philly sound. We go down a little bit, The Philly sound and the whole MFSB.
We talked about that before.
These are the brothers and sisters who actually work behind. You remember when we listened to Earl Young, is drumming on Mighty Clouds of Joy.
Okay,
that's his drumming. That is the signature drumming.
Okay.
And then a lot of these brothers actually working with him in unison. They had a core rhythm section.
Okay, cool.
All those when we talk about all those different studio bands had a core rhythm section, and then they actually accompanied by the horn and string section from that city, you know, the symphony orchestra brothers coming from that city. Does that make sense? And so they come up with those sounds. So
okay, so now I'm listening and going, okay, where you guys going with this in terms of bands and sounds and whatever they're still here and whatever? Because the thing is, I think again, looking at musical success, guys, you gotta look at sounds and areas, and I think that, you know, in the UK gospel scene, and I'll be honest about it, we haven't respected that basically different regions have different sounds. So hence why every sound needs to sound like what's going on in London. So for me as an outside London person, I'm frustrated because my sound is not reflected. On top of that, my sound is not respected. Yeah. So what you have to realize is that if we treat black music as different areas have different sounds because of the
sonic expressions,
sonic expressions,
sonic brands.
And I think if we respect that, we want to take the best to conform into a sound in London. But if we had a lot of great people at the time who were the likes of I've had conversations with the likes of Tony Cummings, who was a media guy, and he clearly didn't understand why him and his other friend, and these two white journalists, didn't understand why London excluded other musicians from around the country when they saw the talent that we had around, where we had Marybelle Choir, we had Highgate Gospel Choir, and you got choirs that are based not in London that are amazing, but then they're not being utilized in the right spaces. They're just being left out, you know, and we're still doing this to this day. So it's important that we in America, you gotta realize all we know about from a UK standpoint is New York and the capital's Washington. What you have to realize is that LA, they still respected. You're looking at Memphis. Memphis is nothing big to us, but in the musical world, they respect the sound of Memphis. They respect the sound of Philly. You know, Philly is a city not far from New York. You know what I'm saying?
The musicians used to go back and forth because they used to work at Sigma New York. And media sounds. All these musicians, such as the late Eric Gale, you know, top end guitarist and jazz musician, he used to be back and forth working with the Ashfords and Simpson, Diana Ross, and so forth, and working jazz compositions as well as gospel, because gospel came out. New York Community Choir.
So signature sounds. Don't want to excuse the pun. Signature sounds is an important thing to recognize when developing excellence when it comes to music. Guys. So you've got a signature sound in gospel evolving in San Francisco.
That's right.
In the West Coast. You got a signature sound, which is actually me and Kevin. We took some time out after we did our last podcast, and we was playing a couple Andrea Crouch absolute hits.
Yes,
and you can hear. Kevin's phrases now. It's the sonic expression, the sonic excellence, you know, and the detail.
The benchmark.
Just when they do something, just something as simple it's just done in a way which respects the brass, the string arrangements. He was doing things which secular artists were dreaming about at the time, and he did things with excellence. Absolute excellence. You know what I'm saying? My question is, are we doing it? And I want to say cheap route, because I know there's musicians and producers that not receipts, that could work with a point system with a lot of great people out there in the world, yeah? And are we utilizing it to develop the best music in gospel? That's my question, you know? And so that's my challenge. But either way, you got this just a development scene. Crouch is just transcending music in the West Coast, in the black churches, and then he's touching into the white churches. We know he came over here and went to Denmark with LCGC. There's a video of him with LCGC in the background and Andrew Crouch is playing. I've seen videos of that. He's transcending into Europe. He has a sound of excellence, hence why everybody, whatever color is. So you got him doing this now, yeah? From little old Kojic church, yeah? No offense to Kojic people, but you know, I mean, it was more a Kojic church, yeah, you know. And then all of a sudden, bro, you got these guys that are trailblazing straight. You got Denny Bell. We touched on Denny Bell coming through straight afterwards, and we talk about Jesse Dixon, and now we go into the next. Arguably, Crouch as an individual, him and his sister, you could count as a family, but as an individual, yes. You can't, no doubt. That's the biggest. I think only Kirk now can actually challenge Crouch's impact. Would you say that's fair?
Well, Kirk, in terms of data,
I got myself your way now.
In terms of global data, Kirk units, according to the RIAA, you know, the Gospel Record Industry Association of America, as said, is second behind Amy Grant. These are the most recent datas, you know.
Okay,
in terms of global movement,
yeah.
So yes. But the thing about it is that we don't know exactly
the true reach of Andre Crouch, because at the time that he was going through, he wasn't counted properly.
No, just like Mayor Jackson, the labels that they worked for was not paying their dues or to get permission to actually give them the awards from, because the RIAA existed from the 50s actually.
Okay, so ultimately the record labels weren't paying for the certifications.
Yes, when
they got 1,000 copies, when they're saying, "Oh, allow these, forget these guys, we just carry on."
Yeah, because it's probably above their budget. So whatever the issue at the time, but a lot of other companies did pay their fees to actually get the proper certification, the auditing rather. And so the artists, so you can actually see in terms of economic and cultural impact, how much the artist is actually generating for, you know, because remember their economic impact, you know. Andrew Crouch was an economic impact because he went to conferences in the areas and, you know, he's actually doing workshops. So what do you think, how much would you think is net worth or is global impact would be? Can we put it in billions or what? Well, we can actually put it in billions because it multiplies all the time. Yes. Does it make sense? Considering what the work that he's done with MJ, Michael Jackson.
All these deals.
So you're talking about the knockoff effect.
So what Kevin's saying, yes, technically Kirk is the number one, but reality is that Andrew Crouch's impact is there to be seen. You know what I'm saying? You can see you're not singing Kirk songs in every church. You're not singing Stomp as a congregational hymn.
No.
You know what I'm saying?
No.
But you're singing To God Be the Glory. You know what I'm saying? There's a difference. You know what I'm saying? So the things he has done, do.
Yes.
But so
it goes across the board.
Yeah. So really, reality show is that Crouch is the
forerunner of contemporary gospel.
Oh, right, that's the one.
Contemporary gospel.
So, but then you have to go when you have the Jacksons. Oh yeah. So you got the Jacksons. You got Jacksons. Jacksons over there. So yeah. They got the Jacksons. Yeah. You have to say the Hawkins is gospel's version of the Jacksons.
Yes, in most respect, they are. Yes.
You know, if you
yes,
look at,
they are. It's a brand. It's a sonic brand.
You see,
Yeah,
these
exactly.
guys are West Coast singers. You know what I mean?
West Coast notorieties.
Yes. And the thing is, I didn't get this whole West Coast thing. And again, I go back to the park. I keep forgetting the name of it. Which the guy had to roots. The drummer had to roots. He did the video on the park, and he had the Hawkins singers on there.
Oh,
and
yes. That was in New York.
Yes.
Oh boy.
And you got these Hawkins.
Ladies and gentlemen, you got to watch this video.
It's so.
You got to watch this video because it was a template of what is to come.
But they hit it from us.
Oh well.
Yeah. Well, that's a whole other thing anyway. But going back to now the Hawkins now, guys. Let's talk serious. The Hawkins now. Come on, I'm going to try and find that video. The Hawkins was a legacy that if you play Hawkins songs, I know it. The reason why I know it, I can imagine going to concerts as a 3-year-old child and people in the crowd is singing. I went to my and I played a song. Reminds me of my uncle, man. My uncle that came over singing kids with my nana over here, and they played this song. And the new T song. New T people play, they sang it, and my aunt, my mom's cousin auntie went and she sang in it, and it was Going Up to Yonder. You know what I'm saying?
Oh,
you know what
boy,
I mean?
that is
and it's such a simple song.
Hawkins
Going
classic.
Up to Yonder.
And then you can hear the vocals just taking it, rising.
But the thing is, the thing is, I keep finding more Hawkins songs, but all the time I'm finding more and more Hawkins. I never even realized Hawkins did a Christmas album, so it's like obviously because of my limitations, because I'm checking things on digital.
Remember, with Hawkins, he produced some of Tremaine's early stuff.
Yeah, man.
And he was involved in Lynyrd Hawkins.
That's another problem. That's another problem. Tramaine Hawkins. That's another problem.
Don't forget what Edwin Hawkins. Oh.
Is it? So the Hawkins now, the Hawkins legacy guys, yeah. You've got the likes of the Hawkins, because they did actually a lot of workshop type choir things as well.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying?
So they create a new bunch of top end musicians.
Yeah, bro.
Yeah.
Go hit me some facts about the Hawkins. Whoa. And the Hawkins did the song of all, which we love and hate, which is Oh Happy Days. Brethren, anyhow, I had 1% of that track. If I did the hook for that, right about now, my family's family, my next generation, after that is sorted. All you have to do is watch Sister Act, whatever, and Oh Happy Days is being sung everywhere you go. There's a period there where, bro, everybody sang Oh Happy Days. Everybody wants Oh Happy Days, and you're thinking, hold on a second, and Hawkins, that's a Hawkins song, and they was told that song's too. They got not kicked out of the church, but they said that's too secular at the time, and that song is the baseline for worldwide gospel music. Not US, but worldwide.
Yeah, because what it did, it announced It announced the potential of what gospel can do globally across all the cultures and language. That is very key, actually, because it is what gospel is. Gospel is the good news. It's the bottom line. Isn't that right? The good news. It's just you remember CC1 and latest hit. Remember the latest hit, which when I went to Jamaica, I heard them in the church singing the song. So it's gone globally.
Yeah,
and everybody's doing their interpretations of it. And you go into the Baptist church, they're doing their interpretation of it. And then you go into another denomination, they're doing their interpretation. So it becomes an hymn of a soundtrack, rather, to that generation and to the worship teams across the globe.
Okay, so I'm gonna hit you guys a hit list of the top tunes from him, top tracks from Walter Hawkins directly.
Yeah. Hit them,
going up yonder.
Yes,
you know what I'm
that's
saying?
right. Yes, that's right. Yes.
Be grateful.
I'm trying to control. I know that Ray Prince would be on the ground by now.
My
because
Yo,
because
guys,
you remember when we did wherever it is.
Listen. We did a show, guys. You can look back with the receipts out there still. Yeah, we played Be Grateful. Yo, man's ready to cry out here, man, because you know what? Be grateful. You know, we don't talk like anyway. So Hawkins, be grateful. Sorry. So guys, you can actually go and refer and actually check these tracks out. You've got Thank You. Yeah, it's an interesting song. Thank you, Lord, for you know how many remakes people have done for this?
Yes.
So people have done their version of the track.
Yes.
It's because it's such. I want to give anyway. So there we are. And now a track that I've come to in late, but I love. Is another track called Marvelous.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So
I'm trying to keep myself.
And you got When the Battle Is Over is another one still.
Yes.
And another classic. What is this?
What is this?
Oh my! What is this? Yeah, these guys, and he got changed. Oh my! You know, what I'm saying? You've got I Shall Wear a Crown.
Yes.
Highway to Heaven.
Yes.
He is that kind of friend.
Yes.
Never Alone.
Yes.
Until I Found the Lord.
Until I Found the Lord.
You know what I'm saying?
Until I Found the Lord is on my website.
Is it?
Yeah, it's if you go into the gospel signature sounds, I define it as West Coast, and he's performed Until I Found.
Okay.
7 minutes of,
and that's the
live.
thing is, if I want to go and use it sounds kind of weird. If I want to go and have a little just a mental break on my show and play some old school tracks, you just go for a Hawkins track, because them things go on from 5 minutes to 11, 12 minutes, man.
Yes,
you know what I mean? You find the version of them tracks.
Oh yes.
But you got songs like these. Songs are fundamentals that a lot of choirs. The reason why I know them is not because I listened to the Hawkins version, is because I heard my local, national, district choirs singing these songs.
That
because,
is
you know what I'm saying?
correct.
And that's
indeed
one,
correct.
and that showed you the imprint of what the Hawkins did, West Coast gospel did. So if you're in the West Coast of America now, you may not recognize that you influenced an Afro-Caribbean stronghold musically, because we were when we first came over, the Windrush sound is very reggae, ska, very and then also very colonial in one sense as well. Very because my church is very colonial, you know, very hymns and sing a certain
Yes,
way.
of course,
You know what I'm saying? Very
yes.
colonial. But then this West Coast sound from Andre Crouch going into Hawkins, you have to define that this broke the camel's back for a generation of people in the UK.
Well, remember
We're unlocking it, bro. We're unlocking it right here.
Yeah.
Yes, if you really think about it, bro, the West Coast gospel has been the biggest influence in the sound of UK gospel.
Yes, because
for the I would say the slave diaspora. I don't know what it sounds really very morbid, but may not be for the African community, because I spoke to them and their upbringing in terms of sonically was different to in terms of their influences because of what they were allowed to listen to. You know what I'm saying? But at the time, especially with the Windrush station coming here about 20 years in bulk before any other community, before the Asian and the African community, you have to realize that in the 60s and 70s, their children were sneaking in vinyls of Andre Crouch, sneaking in vinyls of Danny Bow.
Yeah,
Yes,
because
it-
I'll tell you
Jesse
why.
Dixon.
Tell you why. Because they were
Hawkins.
my parents was listening to the Chop Wagon Gang and Jimmy Reed and so on.
Yeah.
You know, this sort of sudden.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I come to the garden alone, all that sort of thing. I've come to the garden, you know. It was coming out of Nashville.
They them old like school singing.
Yes, that's right. Yes, and then they're doing all the different, all the different vocal parts.
Yeah.
but
country and western, isn't it?
Yes,
very country and
yes,
western.
very
influence.
country and western. Yes. But when the Hawkins, I tell you what changed the game as well. When people begin to become aware of Aretha Franklin Amazing Grace album, that set the standard, you see. And then because it came out before the Hawkins start to do those Love and Life series.
How old was that? How long ago? When was that?
1972, actually. 1972,
Wow.
and it's a double platinum.
Because the joke is, when I watch that video, they actually dubbed it over in colour, innit?
Yes.
Yeah.
Some of it,
Yeah.
Because that's right. Yeah. So with the Hawkins, they had a rich sort of sonic experience on the West Coast as a comer. And Happy Day was the beginning of that cultural evolution and significance.
Happy day.
Yeah.
Happy day.
Yeah. And
Everybody knows that
Happy
song.
Day was big in
Everybody knows
France.
that song.
It was big in France. It was in the top 10 in France and the France charts, and several places in Europe, including Britain and so on. So it was an international sensation.
And people play, and then imagine now you create a song which everybody sings. Now, are you as an artist prepared to create songs that everybody else will sing?
Well, that's a
I'm saying. So this is another thing. When you're creating a hit, you almost have to realize that people gonna cover this. You gotta say, "Oh, Happy Days" is the most covered song.
Yes, it's one of the most covered gospel song. Excuse me.
It is the most gospel.
Actually, the last data they said about it was that, according to several industry reports and collections, it said it's done about 7 million copies worldwide. And of course, they're talking about estimates. It could be more than that. Actually, it could be more. It could be more than that. But that's
And it's just like crazy, man, guys. Absolutely crazy.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? To have a look at, and it's in fact. So that for me, like I said, you got Edwin Hawkins now with, and he had a family. Obviously, there's a family of them, and obviously, Edwin married to a young lady called Tramaine, who for me. Was part
Walter
of
Hawkins, Walter Hawkins.
Sorry, forgive me, Walter. So you got Edwin. Oh my goodness! So you got Edwin Hawkins, and then they got Walter Hawkins. Okay, so see, I keep getting mixed up now. Now I'm going through some Walter Hawkins hits, yeah. So it's Edwin Hawkins now. Which one did he? I'm getting confused now. So you got Tramaine.
You mean Walter Hawkins? Well, Edwin Hawkins.
Yeah, go on. Explain the difference for all of the people. Yeah,
Edwin Hawkins and the Edwin Hawkins singers. Did "Oh Happy Day." Right?
Yeah.
And that was in the late 60s, and as we enter into the 70s decade, the Walter Hawkins begin to define his own sound. Well, Edwin Hawkins was still doing recordings as well, you know.
Right.
But
So
the interesting thing,
that's a good to explain it. Yeah.
Interesting thing with Edwin Hawkins, he was using many times the top end jazz musicians like Joe Samples and so on. Because if you listen to his music, it's got a lot of jazz riffs and connotations. You know, very, very.
Edwin Hawkins is more about the choir, the singing thing. Because I remember, this is where I just bumped into Edwin Hawkins singers Christmas. That's why I thought, whoa, they did a Christmas vibe. It is absolutely vibe, people. I like to teach, and then it's got this one called "I like to teach the world to sing."
Yes.
Jeez. So Edwin Hawkins had a next kind of vibe to his brother Walter Hawkins, but Walter Hawkins almost done the whole solo kind of thing, going vibe afterwards. Because
both of them did at times. Although they work with groups, they did their own solo. Matter of fact, at one time, Edwin Hawkins actually worked with the Oklahoma Symphony Orchestra.
Crazy, bro.
So these men were actually moving into very interesting sonic spaces.
So Edwin came up with "Oh Happy Days" and Walter just clean up on the rest of the tunes there. Absolutely. So Edwin was married to Tramaine.
That's correct. Yes.
Okay, so now, so you've got this now singer called Tramaine. Now Tramaine, as it is, I'll have to give shout out to Dulcie Dixon. She introduced. So I was a young man. I was listening to BBC Radio Leicester, and my brother would listen to every Sunday between 4 and 6. I think it's 104.9 FM. I think it's around there anyway. And she would do competitions. So we won a competition, you know, and she sent us the vinyl, and the vinyl was Tramaine Hawkins live, you know what I mean? And it was like, guys, trust me, this singer, my brother loved, because he was more into gospel at that time, more into music. No, not gospel, but more into music than me at the time. And he could sing and he could play drums and different things like that. And I have to say, like, Tramaine, he would say, listen, she's the best singer. I think the people would, she is, when they say arguably, they say the word arguably, it's not even arguably, she was probably the top three vocalists, female vocalists in gospel ever. Tramaine.
Yeah, because of a vocal range. It's, you know, when she sings Change,
I've known to arguably the best one. That's because that's potent, you know, bro. That's potent.
Yeah, because
from the West Coast, you know?
Yeah, because
West Coast, man, watch this, man. Really, UK, especially Birmingham. I know Birmingham, we've been highly influenced by these guys, and we've been influenced by West Coast. As much as we love the Chicagos and the New Yorks and all them guys, really and truly, these guys influenced us. And national conventions and UTs and prophecies.
Yes.
It's the West Coast gospel that influenced our sound.
Yes, it was not.
That's the conclusion.
Yeah, it was not,
Jeez.
especially for the emerging new generation of composers and so on from the church. We were more inclined to actually look at, like majestic singers. Majestic singers had a more refined sound, but their influence is the Andrew Crouch, when he used to have his group, as well as the Hawkins. You can actually hear it in their sound, the cleanness, the quality. Now, okay. I'm sort of thinking about gospel music eccentric, gospel eccentric, which is originally from. It was founded in the West Coast as well. So the most outstanding, the most successful gospel label in history from the black community came out in the West Coast as well. I mean, it was part of the top 2 at one time.
So it's amazing, people.
So
the capital of the US, the capital center of the UK, population-wise, is not the center of gospel music. I wonder if that really works out in the UK as well. No, sorry, London. You know what I'm saying? Just put it out there, guys.
Okay.
Just. But then let me just touch base with Tramaine. Let me just touch base before you move forward, bro. So Tramaine was on things like. She featured, as you hear the vocals and going up yonder. Change. She was the main vocals on there. Holy One, jeez, that's a phenomenal. What Shall I Do?
Yes,
you know what I'm saying?
yes.
Absolute classics, man.
Yes,
you know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Highway Fall Down.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Oh, that's a tune. Lord You Are, you know what I'm saying, featuring Richard Smallwood.
Yes,
you know what I'm saying?
yes.
Please don't tell me Richard Smallwood's West Coast as well.
I know that he had his educational training in classical in Washington D.C. at Harvard University, where
okay, cool.
Roberta Flack and such individual as James and Toomey. It was a collective that got them work through there. Yes, but I don't know where he's from originally.
Okay,
this is the issue, ladies and gentlemen.
Go on.
This is the issue I have.
Go on.
I had to actually take a journey in understanding the American sound from New Orleans all the way up, and also the migration of top-end musicians from, say, New Orleans to the West Coast and different places. It's quite interesting.
We cannot exclude the great their version of Windrush. US went
Yes,
for
yes, it had a Windrush generation.
So
during the same time, that the UK was going on. Yeah.
So what you have to realize, guys.
Interesting.
What we found early on in our podcast, something that we discussed, because you have to look at also local history events at the same time. But what's the crucial element when they talk about great gospel singers, when they talk about great great speakers, the Martin Luther Kings and so on? What you find is that they, when you find if they're in the northern industrial areas, their parents were originally plantation workers from the south, because there was, after World War II, there was a great migration of black people from the oppressive south.
Not only that, for the oppressive south.
Yeah.
Not only that, they were looking for new opportunities because of shipbuilding, the auto industry.
The factory jobs would lead to a better thing, but not to realise that they would be put into ghettos where full of black people and being oppressed that way. Right. But that's a whole nother subject.
But another interesting thing that come out of that is the sounds that came out of these projects.
So the sounds from the south came they travel up, and then maybe somebody from New Orleans and Memphis wouldn't play together, but all of a sudden they find themselves in the same room.
Yes,
and then you get a fusion.
Okay, I'm going to tell you something. This is interesting. I tell you something. One of the most successful early soundtracks was the Mission Impossible. The Mission Impossible soundtrack, or Mission Impossible, just giving you an idea about migration.
Is it
the Mission Impossible? Yes, that's right. Yeah, yes. The drummer on it was Earl Palmer. Is in my book, actually, my first book. The drummer on it is Earl Palmer, who came from New Orleans, playing for Little Richard and so on, and Fats Domino, and migrated to the West Coast. And he became an in-demand musician working with Wrecking Crew, and he was called to do the drumming sessions for Mission Impossible, because we've got to remember Mission Impossible is really classical connotations. It's the top end musicians that came out of Wrecking Crew.
Of course.
And he was so good that he can actually play rock and roll, soul, and jazz and classical. And guess what? He was the man featured on Sam Cooke's first million seller and #1 pop. You Sent Me.
Wow.
And You Sent Me. So you see the migration of these talent people.
And so you've got these West Coast guys. You got the impact of the Hawkins. You got the Hawkins going all around the US, not just in the West Coast. So we have to realize, guys, these traveled. And money traveled as well with them. Not in terms of negative sense. It's not cheap to go from LA to New York. We've got footage of evidence of Edwin Hawkins sharing stages with secular acts.
Yes, of course.
So it's not a case that they were like the mugshots of the times, and they were traveling between churches.
Of course,
you were saying who were paying their honorariums.
And remember, some of the churches were white churches too, because they were actually transcending into. This is the fascinating thing about music. As one of my friends says, good music has no boundaries. Good music has no limitations to who will hear it. Can you imagine? That's
a good point, because I keep on seeing this in the UK gospel trying to make a hit by changing our sound. We just produce good music.
Well, the most important thing. Let me just say this again. Yeah, I'm going to get myself in trouble here. We're going to get ourselves in trouble here. The thing is that when I look at officially, me and Roger is going to check the charts later on, the official UK gospel album charts later on. I can guarantee you 9 times out of 10, the top black recording acts on it are from the where?
US of A.
This is a very sad commentary, considering that with Linton's influence and so on, and his vision for getting it done, helping with the official charts company to set it up before his passing, 2 years before his passing. And we still have not as a group, a community, really exploit it.
But the thing is that creates an argument which we can't go into right now. Is that have we come together to support our gospel artists to go out there, or we've been stuck in our tribes, our colonial tribes?
Did you say what did you say?
Are we stuck in our colonial tribes, whether it's colonial stroke doctrinal tribes, and not realizing that skin folk is real folk? You know what I'm saying? And realize that we're here to back each other no matter what. We can feel the vibes, but that's a whole
that's a whole different.
That's the
whole different. It's talk about the creative mindset and where you want to go. How do you visualize rather this?
This is absolutely crazy because I'm just going through this. I'm just looking into this podcast that we're doing right now. We're having this conversation right now, and people are looking at, okay, this is not a normal podcast where we have lines and we read it out. This is a developing up a conversation to open up the history of black music between a teacher and his pupil. You can argue about this and whatsoever, yeah? So this is what is happening right in front of you, yeah? So we are both learning at the same time from each other, and both of us are bringing in, as we go through this journey, and then hopefully listening in, and bringing things into context that actually is maybe seems to be nothing to do with it, but actually adds to the cultural creative input. So this is where we touch base with the Hawkins. You have to talk about the musical talent that's sitting in the city, but they're pulling into the foundation of the Hawkins, which I never knew, guys. I never knew Andre Crouch has already moved the ground already in that church. Right. So you got to imagine now, you're 10 years old, and Andre Crouch you're 10 years old, watching Andre Crouch move away, and now Andre Crouch is in his mid-20s, and you're 16, 17, 18, and he's already done the circuit. He's got some hits, and he's already now a high-level recording artist doing albums, and you're 16, 17, going to the studio with Andre Crouch. That means that you're already 10 years ahead. Now, you 10 years ahead now allows you to do another madness, the Hawkins. Now the Hawkins are now 10 years ahead because of Andre Crouch's trailblazing. Because remember, they're on the same label that Andre Crouch started. So light. So all these things, as an artist, it was, you created you started to help, and you thought wider, and you started producing Jesse Dixon. You started supporting the Hawkins. You started giving great singers like Denny Bell. Danny Bell's got a beautiful song. I keep forgetting the name of it. I'm saying, you're saying absolutely beautiful song. Without the opportunity of singing with Andre Crouch, she would not have the opportunity.
Because she was part of the Disciples, Andre Crouch and the Disciples. Yeah, man. Now let's just go back a bit here. Let's just go back. We're talking about Rogers. Can you?
Sorry.
You're talking about the cultural significance of the song. Actually, the lyricist, which Andrew Crouch was an extraordinary lyricist, what caused his compositions to be timeless. The narrative. It's vitally important. How to craft a brilliant song that transcends time. These are very key. I can tell you all the datas about these different things, but there are certain authentic qualities and importance that actually make this work.
Well, it's crazy. You West Coast, I salute West Coast gospel. I am sold out, man. You guys produce the best ever hits of all time. West Coast, 60s, 70s. You transcended time. Listen, you did between Andre Crouch, the Hawkins, and we are going to get it ready into the next episode because we have Farsi spent too much time, not even too much here, guys. We have just been mesmerized.
Should I show them one of the classic that's
my goodness, we even forgot to show you some of the stuff, man. Listen, guys, please forgive me, guys.
This ladies and gentlemen, this is one of the best. That was one of the best selling.
Listen, guys.
Gospel live albums.
The best-selling hairstyles as well.
after Rita Franklin, 1970. This is 1979, actually. This is 1979.
Let me touch the hem of the garments. Yo, listen, guys.
And you need to open it as well. You need to open it to see it's because it's fold as well. Yeah.
Oh, what's that? Ooh.
No, you can open it. You can actually open it. Show the audience. Look at that, ladies and gentlemen. That is brother Walter Hawkins at top of the game.
What's good?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, his brother is working on. His brother is actually recording Edwin Hawkins courtesy of Birthright music label, right? Label Roma Records, because he was contracted to another label, but he was doing stuff.
Man, I'm gonna get some pictures with this, man.
Okay.
Right. So you've got Come By Here, Good Lord. You got
Have you heard that track?
You know what? I need to remind myself of that one.
Yes, you need to go and check.
He's that kind of friend.
Yes, brilliant. Yes.
Never alone. Yeah, I heard that one. Yes. Until I found the Lord.
Yes,
okay.
Yes, I like that one. Yes.
Be grateful. Come on now.
Be grateful.
I'm going away.
Oh, yes.
God will open doors.
Yes.
Right on.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? So, oh my days, man. Yeah. Oh,
and
guys,
this is also the instrumentation has Daniel Hawkins on organ, and then you have Joel Smith either on bass or drums. That's their nephew.
This is 1979, bro.
Yes,
it's 1979.
Yes.
We were guaning with things in 1979, doing amazing productions. And it's like I said, it's Walter Hawkins and the Love Center Choir.
Yes, there's a series of it. There's a series.
So
this is the second in the series. Live series, yes. And then you have the third and so on.
Love Alive too.
Yeah, Love Alive too. And by the way, just a matter of, in terms of data actually, and statistics, these albums were selling on average about 300 to 400,000 per release. So let's quantify that into dollars. That's a lot of money.
Back then, a lot of money.
And some of the albums actually sold over 500,000 units. So they were unofficial gold. Yes, it's this sort of level.
And that's where we need to.
I've got the figures. I've got the figures.
Okay, go.
Edwin Hawkins, as well as Walter Hawkins, was up to 2005, did about 7 million units worldwide.
This is what I'm saying.
See, ladies and gentlemen, you see the impact. It's
different to sell 7 million records than to get 7 million plays on Spotify. Different dynamic. It's different.
These are global figures.
Crazy.
Ladies and gentlemen, they are global figures that you can find the data. The data is in this Congress, Library of Congress, as well as the Gospel Music Association, which keeps these datas, right? And if you want to know, you need to spend time to research and read and understand.
Crazy. Know about gospel and the success of it before you start singing gospel and trying to be professional about it. Not before you sing, but before
be a student
of it. Before you put your release out there, study it. Stop just going, God said, let me just do this. If you do things calculated, if you can get far, it's a plan. Just on the last note, my wife has watched, I didn't get to watch it with her, but she watched King Richard when they talk about Venus Williams and her sister, yeah?
Yes,
it was a plan that he meticulous. He kept on saying, this is my plan to make my daughters this, and he did a plan, worked hard on that plan, strategy to go into an area where there was no black people doing these things, and he broke that area in that now people of color are just flowing into that zone. Female tennis, there's more female black tennis players than there are male black tennis players. You know,
they're emerging. You keep an eye on that.
So he broke the thing up through planning and strategy. Yeah, so sometimes, guys, we need to be a bit more strategy about what we do when it comes to gospel music.
Strategic.
Going the lazy route and say God will sell my records. You know what I'm saying? That's lazy. These guys put the best musicians, the best people, mentored by the best guys out there in the system to make sure they put out the best.
By the way, ladies and gentlemen, what makes the...
Every time I try to end it...
Yes. I just need to say one more thing. One more thing. the engineers were key to anchoring the sound engineers.
Oh yeah.
And Walter Hawkins used the same engineer on several occasions, so it became a pattern.
It's a sonic sound.
Yes,
it's a sound.
it's a sonic, and the engineer knew exactly what was going on in the creative mind of brother, the late Walter Hawkins, etc.
Come on.
I finished there.
All right, man, people, you got that, man. But listen, guys, we're going to be touching on even more the legacy of the West Coast there. So, yeah, we have excitedly gone in a bit longer than expected, but maybe because it's just amazing stuff. So we're going to come down from our high. We're going to keep on knocking out. We're going to take a little break and we're going to come with another one. Do check out our next podcast. It's going to touch on more of the West Coast influence as well.
The influence as it pertains to the Winans, etc.
Oh, bro! I wanted to say that. You see, Kevin stole my fun there. You know, he stole it.
Sorry, bro. But you can go on.
Man, stole my fun. I was gonna go woo, woo, woo. And when he gone teeth, man. Yeah, man. So you come from this is like this. Boom, boom. So West Coast has gone. Anyway, we'll get to this guy. That'll be the intro for the next one, still, guys. Yeah, but listen, I am just totally loving this vibe. Yes, you can stop moaning that we haven't touched gospel music enough. Now, all you gospel guys, we're going into black music history when it comes to pertaining to gospel. You know what I'm saying? But now the challenge is that we're saying the same thing we're saying about black music history in America. We're looking at the same evolution. We're looking at the same growth. We're looking at the same patterns. We're looking at the same work rate. We're looking at mentorship, being under Jedi Masters, being under, you know what I'm saying, great people. Who are you under as an artist? You know what I'm saying? Who are you working off? What are you doing to study your art form? Are you bringing in the best of your zone? That's the reality. Are you respecting your own sound, your own village, your own city, your own region? It's the same pattern, guys, in gospel. Nothing new. So let's do this, man. This is Roger over alongside Kevin Tomlin, the gospel music historian, my mentor.
Well, it's actually gospel music historian.
No, gospel music. Sorry, black music historian. So forget your gospel.
Music of black origin.
Okay, come on now.
It's all a bit of both, actually, because there's that gospel DNA. Oh, it's just quite deep, actually. It's fine.
Sorry, he's just tried to start a new podcast on me. Anyway, but
did I? Oh dear, sorry.
So listen, guys. He said this is Roger over now alongside Kevin Tomlin, man. Bless you guys.
No, actually.
Hey, this is your bishop from Rock Solid. Thank you so much for watching us on YouTube. Thank you so much for clicking and subscribing and also sending these videos to other people as well. We are so hungry to get your support. So remember, check us out on our website and also check us out on Insta and wherever you want to find us on Spotify. You can play us all day as well. And just make sure that you are supporting this channel, that we are developing our agenda towards music of black origin, and that is gospel music with a message. So please walk with us on this journey. Bye now.